how exciting is it to have the prospect of City playing a football match tomorrow? Honestly, I'm genuinely excited. I don't care about all the politics behind it. I don't care about anything else behind it. If it's going to happen, it's happening. And we've got a game to watch. We've got a City's game to watch. Forget this Bundesliga. It was absolutely rubbish. I gave it one game. Didn't watch any more of it. Ridiculously rubbish. Not interested in me whatsoever. The prospect of watching City in a competitive match really excites me. I've not had much to cheer for the last couple of months. And I was reading before that, it's just fantastic that football's returning. It's absolutely brilliant. It's going to give so many people, the TV audiences, so many things to look forward to. Whoever you support up and down the league, up and down the country, to have the opportunity to support your team and look forward to a City game and look forward to a United game, a Chelsea game, an Arsenal game, whoever you support, the opportunity to do that again is fantastic, because it has been a rubbish couple of months, hasn't it, lads? Let's face it. But we've got to get to the point where this game tomorrow, do you guys remember the last game that we played? It was the derby.
It was United. No.
We lost.
Yeah.
It's the derby. We lost. So, I know that's a long time. It's over 100 days away. 100 days ago that City last played. 100 days. How bonkers is that? And how quickly, for me, I think that's absolutely flown by. And you know what City are going to be doing? We're going to be doing loads of training with the ball. There's going to be loads of off-pitch stuff. But it's going to be bizarre to watch the game tomorrow. It's going to be semi-training ground mood, isn't it, I think?
It's going to be strange. And like you, Tom, I kind of gave Bundesliga a try. And they've done the best, I think, under the circumstances. But, looking at the, our fan base and where they are stationed literally across the world, which is fantastic. But can you explain maybe some things that the Premier League have decided to do to try and make the games a little bit more exciting in England for everyone?
Do you know, Pat? I can't. It doesn't seem like anything's going to be different, except there's no fans. The only exciting thing that is there for the people that attend matches and people that can't afford to go to matches is the opportunity to watch games on telly when they wouldn't normally have the opportunity to do so,
right?
Which I think is fantastic. I think it's going to be brilliant for the younger audience, the older audience, everybody, even people that are not too sure about football, to give them the opportunity to watch live Premier League games. I think it's brilliant.
And how are they doing that in the UK? Are they free on BBC or ITV or anything? Or
I think I've not read too much into the background of it. Dan, you tell me if I'm wrong, but I believe they've chopped it up into BT. So BT get X amount of games, BBC gets 4 games, Sky gets majority. Because I think if you paid more money, you get more games, which is quite understandable.
Yeah. Well, if you're here in the Americas, like me, that is just the same thing again. That it's showing every game live on NBC Sports. You do have to have the package for that. Not quite as expensive as Sky Sports is, but yeah, you do have to pay to watch it. Owned by NBC, obviously, and they will probably show the odd game just on regular local NBC networks as well. But yeah, it looks like TV stations are kind of taking note here, and to your point, Tom, giving people an opportunity that they might not have had before to watch some Premiership football.
It's fantastic. I'm genuinely excited about football starting again. I mean, I'm looking at the game. Obviously, this is the preview show to tomorrow night's game, and just a shout out, we are going live, watch the game tomorrow. If anybody wants to come and join in, if they're watching the game on their own and they fancy a bit of a laugh, please join us on Facebook or YouTube. We will be. We're just fans watching the game, like you and everyone else. So please feel free to join us tomorrow. But I'm looking into the game tomorrow. Yes, it's an empty stadium, but we've got, for the first time this season, a fully fit squad. The first time this season, a fully fit squad.
Yeah, and that's interesting because I was just asking Tom before we went live about that, I was saying, look, I've been checking, online all morning. I can't find anything about, any injuries or, any thoughts in Guardiola's head about who he's going to play tomorrow. So I'm going to say no news is good news. And that for me means that, to Tom's point, hopefully, Zane, Laporte, who's had his injury problems this season, anyone else, that he's going to have 20 plus players to choose from, which can only be good news for us.
It'll be interesting to see how if Sane returns, hopefully it will be against Arsenal, to see how the injuries played on his footballing career, whether he's lost any momentum in his playing style or anything like that. And Arsenal's probably one thing to do, because Arsenal are very attacking. Therefore, the space defence, Sane's running his legs, and whether he is buying the chance to see what he can probably do for them eventually. No doubt.
I heard the tail end of that, Dan. Sorry, pal. You were sounding a bit like a robot at that point. I don't know if that's my signal or yours, but I don't know if have you got you're all right there. For me, with the injury Sane had, it's his knee, and it's how quick he's going to be. He won't start tomorrow. I'm convinced of that. I'll tell you what my lineup is later on. But I'm sure we'll see him at some point. And if we do, it'll be great to see if he has got that turn of pace about him.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm now really interested now, Tom, on what you think. I guess before you get to that, one topic for conversation is if he has a fully fit squad. I saw a picture of a smiling John Stones this morning. Are we going to get our Fernandinho back in the middle of the park rather than in central defence?
For me, I've gone with the similar teams to what he played at the beginning of the season. Fernandinho at the back and Rodri, purely because. And you know what? It's a tough one, this, but I'm basing that off. I'm still thinking over 100 days ago. I'm still thinking if we played a game straight after the United game, who would you pick? Fernandinho, John Stones? I'd pick Fernandinho. Just because of how he's been this season for us. He's not let us down maybe once or twice. He's been lacking for pace, but that's really not his fault at this age. If John Stones starts, I would be really happy, but I'd also be really surprised. I won't be disappointed. I'd be very surprised just because of the start he had to the season and how well Fernandinho's played. What do you think, Dave? Do you think John Stones got a chance to? John Stones got a chance to play?
We've heard one thing about him, haven't we, over these last 100 days? He's not obviously in Walker's category of naughtiness, but it sounds like he's done a couple of things where his head maybe still quite isn't right. So I would probably, Tom, though it pains me to say, think he's probably going to do the same thing, and Fernandinho is still going to be back there because much as I want Garcia to start starting games, I've been saying this for many, many, many months now. Garcia's not going to start in central defence tomorrow. It's not going to happen.
No.
And if John Stones still isn't quite head right, ready yet, and Guardiola's maybe going to bring him off the bench a couple of times over the next few weeks, it's probably going to be Fernandinho at the back that will port, isn't it?
Yeah, and my thoughts on Garcia. For me, I would start playing our youth for the remainder of the season. We're not going to drop many places in the league. Let's face it. We're on 57 points. Leicester on third place with 53 points. Play Foden, play Garcia, play the young ones. It's funny. I should have done two squads. I should have done what I think we'll play and what I want to play, and there'll probably be about 4 or 5 changes different to the teams, because we've got nothing to lose. We generally have absolutely nothing to lose. Let's if the A grade players are going to play tomorrow, we need to focus on the Champions League this season. We need to focus on the Champions League and the FA Cup. The Premier League is fantastic. It's great to see competitive football. But I see the Premier League at the moment as training time for the FA Cup and the Champions League. I don't know how you two think about it. We're not going to win the league, obviously. There's no prize for second place, is there? Blood our youngsters, get them playing.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. And this is, as you know, this is what I've been saying for several months now. This is what I've been, talking about with Dan Halifax in our heated discussions, that I see this the same as you, Tom, that we're not going to win the Premiership. Why don't we give the Doyles, the Harwood Bellases, the Garcias, the Fodens that opportunity over the next few weeks, get some games under the belt, and then Guardiola or whoever it is going to have a better idea of, do we need to buy anyone? We're not. Thankfully, I was joking with a United friend of mine a couple of days ago about they seem to be in the same problem now that City have been in for several years, that United are being mentioned with every player under the sun right now. and City just not as bad, but we're still getting mentioned. And I don't want that to happen. I want us to focus on the squad that we have, give these younger players that opportunity. And then if this doesn't work out, then we need to start looking at, do we need a Leon Bailey? Do we need, whoever, it is? We're still getting mentioned, with centre-backs as well, that, again, well, we might need one, but can we test Garcia out? Can we test Stones out and see before we make that kind of, pay that kind of money out for someone? I'm absolutely with you, Tom. I think this is a breeding ground for the next few weeks of, let's test out the Fodens, the Garcias, etc., and let's see if they're ready for season 2021.
It's bonkers tomorrow because we've got another game really quickly, and then another game really quickly. I think we've got Burnley, and then we've got Chelsea and Newcastle, and we've got these games that are coming up really quickly. And it's a shame that, because tomorrow night, if we didn't have a game for a week's time, that tomorrow night should have been our Pep's full strength attacking team for a top six competition game. But because we've got another game in like 3 days' time, is he still going to be resting players with a view to that game? So we're technically not going to see his full strength squad tomorrow night, I don't think. I think does he have a full strength squad? I don't know. It's hard to judge with Pep, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a tough one. For me, I always put Leroy Sané in a full strength squad. He's definitely, we certainly missed him this season. Did we miss Laporte maybe a little bit more? Yeah, probably. But yeah, that's the thing with Pep, is that you just don't know what is going on in that head of his. I'm kind of excited to see as well this assistant coach, as in this new guy that we brought in.
Yes.
Is he going to be all up in Guardiola's face the whole game, which is kind of what I'm expecting, or is he going to be a little bit more relaxed and chill? But if he's anything like Pep, and what I'm reading is he's kind of like Pep Guardiola on steroids. He's just going to be so animated during the whole game. It could be quite interesting to see.
I think we need that as well. I mean, we're going into tomorrow's match. I'm expecting a win. And it's not often I say that, is it, lads? I'm usually quite pessimistic when it comes to City, so I'm really excited about this, obviously. So I'm expecting a win, regardless of an empty stadium, regardless of whatever, just purely because we've got better players than Arsenal. I think we've got better squad than them. So for us not to win, I'd be really disappointed to that. But I'm looking at the game thinking, actually, Mikel Arteta's Arsenal, which is bizarre to say in any world, they've got more to lose than us. They sit in 9th place at the moment. They're fighting for 5th spot. Because I think something negative is going to happen to this Champions League appeal for next season. So the teams are fighting for this 5th spot. So Arsenal have definitely got more to lose. And they're 4 points behind, no, they're not, they're 8 points behind 4th place Chelsea. So they need to win tomorrow, Arsenal. And looking at my stats here, Arsenal only lost one Premier League game since Arteta's appointment, and that was a 2-1 loss to Chelsea. So, granted, they have looked a bit weak in midfield, but they're not losing that many games, are they? They seem to be dragging points across the line. So it's a hard one to call tomorrow, but I'm expecting the City win.
See, what I'm saying now is I think it's almost impossible to call. Because if you think about it, 3 months, that's the gap between the new season, isn't it? And with all the players now, or the majority of players now coming back from injury, managers I don't think even in their right mind have their first 11s in their head, their strong first 11s, because players are basically coming back, in a sense, new. They've got to find the full strength. You've got to find who's going to be firing on all cylinders, and I think it's an underdog game for everyone. Everyone's going to go into the games not knowing, which hopefully will be good viewing for us fans. All guns blazing, rubbish defences until people find the rhythm. But I personally can't see anything other than a City win. But again, that's basing it on pre-lockdown, games and what have you. All I'm hoping for is if Sané plays tomorrow, any minutes that he plays, no doubt Sterling will be playing. I'm hoping we get to see Sterling back in his right winging position, because I think he needs to choose these last few games to show that he's still that man that he was at the beginning of the season and the man that he's been for the past 2 seasons, because I'm sure he won't be the last person nor the first in queue to admit that he's been awful the previous few months before lockdown. So I'm hoping he turns up.
It's funny you say that. I've put Sterling on the left and Bernardo and Silva on the right for my team. We're never going to get this right, are we? For us all,
No.
we're never ever going to get this 100% right, are we? Which is bizarre.
Might as well throw Nico up front. You never know with Pep.
You don't.
Arsenal have got a good team though. They've got some really good attackers. You know, that's one thing we need to be really concerned about is their attacking prowess. They're going to cause us some trouble at some point, aren't they?
Yeah. And that's, Tom, why you're probably right about Fernandinho just being back there. Yeah, they have got a very good strike force. And do you want to put Stones in that situation, you know, first game back, so to speak? Probably not. You probably want a bit more of a level head. You know, Fernandinho might not have that little bit of pace, but he reads the game well. And you're probably best off having Laporte and Fernandinho at the back for now, just until we get things underway.
Chris, admin Chris Laney, who did a great live podcast, a great live show before on Facebook. He's made a really good point on the messages on Facebook. So if anybody else is watching this and they want to get a point over, please, I'm literally reading them now, so I will get your points across if you mention it. But basically what he's saying is, because obviously Arteta knows Pep inside and out, are we expecting, or he's expecting Pep to throw a few surprise packages in there with regards to the formation, or a few curveballs, because obviously to try and throw Mikel off. I can see Pep doing that. I won't put it past him. He's a bit of a tinker man when he needs to be.
Oh, he knows how to throw in Real Madrid games. A prime example of how he throws a spanner into the plans of the opposition, without a doubt. But I think, for me personally, Mikel Arteta was the biggest instrument in the way City have played over the past 2 years. I think he was the gel that got the players working well. Pep's the manager. He's arguably one of the greatest managers, without a doubt. But you're only as good as the team behind you. And I think Mikel Arteta will have in his head everything that Pep would probably plan to throw at him. May just end up being a whole backs to the wall type thing from Arteta and maybe put on a counter attack. But I think Pep will continue with the way he plays possession and just keep finding the gaps. I don't think he'll change.
And the only thing you might see tomorrow is, and certainly for the remainder of this season, I'm going to go back to our new assistant manager again, who apparently is Pep Guardiola's mentor. This is everything that you read about. So it wouldn't surprise me if Pep has laid out his game plan to his new assistant manager, and his assistant managers said, okay, I'm going to suggest that you tweak this little bit here and you tweak this little bit here. So you might see just, you know, a slight variation of what Guardiola is going for, just to, you know, your guys' point that Arteta does know Guardiola inside out, but he doesn't know this new assistant manager inside out. And maybe he just might see something of, do that little bit of tweak tomorrow, something that Mikel Arteta's just not expecting at all.
Yeah, it's a good shout. Daniel Davidson on Facebook Live has had a really good point. City have won the last 6 games against Arsenal. That's a really good point, actually. I can remember a couple of them. Remember the one where we just passed it round Arsenal for 20 minutes, then scored? Remember that? Yeah, you've got a really good shout there, pal. I can understand it. But we just can't go into this too confident, can we? And Pep won't. Pep won't see this as a given. Pep will be giving it. Pep will want the win. There's no question about that.
The win, and I just think Aguero is such a football man. I mean, I think that man lives to score goals at the highest level. That is just what he was born to do. Someone of that nature who's not been able to kick a ball around for 100+ days, you know, in the league, he will be chomping at the bit tomorrow to score a couple of goals. He will, you know. It's Lionel Messi in Barcelona. You just know that players like that were just chomping at the bit to get playing again. I think Aguero is going to. You saw an interview. He talked about 2 really bad tackles on David Luiz.
Yeah, I saw that. Brilliant. He was laughing as well once as he was talking about them.
That I think he's gonna, you know, kind of want that feeling again, and I think Aguero is going to have a very, very good game tomorrow if he gets the service.
The biggest question I've got, and Michael Stridgen on Facebook Live has made a good point as well, regards to Sane. And he's put, Sane can't just come straight back into the team, especially if he's been pushing for a move. And for me, if he doesn't leave for anything less than 70 million. Yeah, I agree with you on the price tag, Michael, and I'm inclined to agree with you on the commitment to the club as well. If you're not 100% committed to the cause, you don't get anywhere near the subs bench, never mind the starting lineup. And that's why I've not started him in my team tomorrow. What do you guys think?
Well, I think it'll already be decided now. I think the 3 months that we've had off, Pep's, we haven't been able to train. What's the only thing a manager can do? He's been paid to still manage a club despite where he is. He can still work from home, get his plans right. I think he's been talking to the players and deciding who's staying and who's going. I think it's sorted out. I think if Sane is staying, he will more than likely start or at least get more than 40 minutes tomorrow. And if he is going, I don't think he'll be in the team at all. I think that's the only way to determine it. But I'm still 50-50 because of the injury. You just don't know. Like you always say, Tom, what happens behind closed doors is behind closed doors. We don't have the liberty to see it.
Yeah, it's hard, isn't it? Because I'm looking at this, thinking if Sane doesn't feature on the bench tomorrow, when he is fit, it's confirmed he's fit, and he's confirmed if he doesn't feature at all, that's obvious. He's going. He's gone. There's no question mark about that. And I don't. Will Pep be out there totally worried about that? I don't know. It's a tough one, really, isn't it? And I definitely don't expect it to start. I expect him to be on the bench, and I'd love to see him at some point. I really would. I'd like to see him back to full fitness. I'd also like to see him sign a contract as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I only think you're ever going to see or hear Pep Guardiola panicked if who's going to replace Aguero, because that's happening whether we like it or not.
Yeah.
What's the plan in place for that? Hopefully they've started thinking about that because we've maybe got him for 2 more years if we're lucky. How would we replace Kevin De Bruyne? Arguably the best player on the planet, or was pre-lockdown. And we've got Laporte and Edison for me as well. If we lose any of those 4 players for me, that's when you see a very panicked Pep Guardiola. But Sane, as good as he is, I think he's replaceable, and I think Pep Guardiola knows that. This absolutely comes down to money, doesn't it? As that guy said a few minutes ago on the comments, we want at least 70 million for him. And it might be paper talk or whatever, but this whole, we'll give you 35 million. I mean, we paid more for that for him when he left Schalke. I mean, I don't know if this is just the papers or a Bayern Munich really do think that we're going to sell him for that kind of money, which is nuts. Surely we're not going to do that.
I think Bayern Munich have shown themselves up to be utter sharks in the last couple of months. But it's a constant battering of media from the German media, isn't it? It's a constant battering of. It just seems to be rubbish, and every other day on the City news aggregators, it's something about Leroy Sané. Next day, Leroy Sané. It's boring. I'm fed up with it now. I just sign the contract or go. I'd also see you stay, Leroy. I know you're watching because you're a fan of the show, but time to sign, pal.
It's just I said to you a few months ago actually about if there's any good German player, they're either at Bayern Munich or they're at another German club and they sign for Bayern Munich. And it just seems to be that thing in Germany that, Bayern Munich get every best German player that there is. And all they need to do is put it in their national newspaper that Bayern Munich are interested in XYZ, and, lo and behold, they come and join the club.
Yeah.
And I think they're not realising it's a bit different. Yes, he is one of the top German players, but I'm sorry, Bayern Munich, he's not playing for another German club. He's not at Borussia Dortmund, like Götze, when he left Dortmund and moved to Bayern Munich. This is a completely different scenario. He's at the Premier League champions. And if you want him, you've got to pay Premier League champion money. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, no, I can't disagree with that. Should we move on to the lineups? Just a couple of comments from Facebook Live. Michael Stridgen's put, I'd definitely rather have Jesus or Mahrez on the flanks. Jesus was absolutely fantastic in the FA Cup final and has been committed to the cause, even though limited minutes, and Mahrez has stepped up when Raz has gone off the boil. I think Mahrez has been fantastic this season, and I'm going to shoot myself right in the foot here. He's not in my starting lineup, Mahrez. I put Bernardo Silva in there instead. But I'll go through that shortly, because I think now is time for Bernardo Silva to step up. He went off the boil after the racism shouts on Twitter. Over 100 days ago. That's out of question now. Before that, if you would have gone against my head and said Mahrez or Silva, I would have put Silva. But Mahrez has been absolutely fantastic. But he's not going anywhere.
I disagree with that.
Yeah, he's been fantastic. I'm starting with, this is going to be no surprise in net, Ederson, best keeper in the country, in my opinion. Even though he had an absolute mare against United, but never mind.
I think Dan was thinking you were going to say Bravo then.
Ballon d'Or title winner, potentially Bravo. Yeah, why not him? Nah, right out.
It's no surprise that Ederson's got to be in the number one slot. And the question is Bravo going on this season? Is he going to leave, and our young American lad going to take the mantle for second place, or is there another keeper out there that we should sign? What about that AC Milan goalkeeper, the 21-year-old?
Donnarumma.
Yeah, Donnarumma.
Oh, crikey. Imagine.
Love him at City, but, you know, he's 21. What's Ederson now, 26?
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a solid, if he wants, he's got a solid 10 years left at City, Ederson.
Let's not talk about Ederson leaving, because that upsets me far too much.
No.
If you lads gone, sorry, mate, you're going to say something?
Yeah, sorry, just slightly off topic a degree, but that's another problem Pep's going to have, is goalkeepers with that situation. If Bravo is going to leave, does Pep want to bring Stefan into the club, who may, yes, challenge Ederson for the first choice position, but at the same time it may give him a headache by the fact that this second choice keeper is unhappy that not being picked first. Was he going to cause a stir in the dressing room? But then, if he falls back on Muric, is Muric good enough to take back up? I know that's completely off topic. That's a discussion for another day, but that's another thing.
Yeah, it's a tough one, that, isn't it? It's a tough one to answer that, pal.
Yeah.
The last thing we need is Ederson to get injured.
Yeah.
That'd be dreadful.
I think for me, and I think I've said this on our little group chats a couple of times with Stefan, he's never played at this level before. Mm-hmm. Yes, he's into US men's national team goalkeeper. I get that. He's played some international games. He's been loaned out to Germany. He's played in the MLS. I'm sorry, but none of that is anywhere near the level of what the Premier League is. And my feeling is he's been brought in that he's got a lot of ability, which American goalkeepers tend to have, and that he's going to be trained up. I don't want him leaving on loan anywhere else. I want Bravo out. I want Stefan in as number 2. And if he's got any sense, he will realise that I've actually not played at this level, really. And I need to learn from the goalkeeping coach, from Ederson, of how I can get to that level. And then, you know, if he's then pushing Dan for me in a couple of years and he's played in a World Cup with the US and he's still not getting a starting spot, then we paid $7 million for him. All right, well, you can have him for 20 if he wants to move on. But I think he needs to understand, he needs to train to get to Ederson's level first.
It's funny that, because I agree with you. I'll go halfway with agree with you there, Dave, just for argument's sake. But I think a goalkeeper needs full-time. I'm just thinking of the analogy of who's the United player that's playing on loan?
Oh, Henderson. Over at Sheffield United. Yeah.
He'll be United's number 1 keeper in a few years.
I would agree with that.
He's gone on loan to get that experience of first-team football. And I wouldn't begrudge this young American lad doing the same thing. And us having a more experienced keeper like the Bravo type age as an understudy for Ederson. I think it's hard to get an understudy having the same chomp. We don't want another Carson, or who's the other third choice goalkeeper that's been at City for 50 years.
Carson, we had Stuart Taylor.
Back in the day. Yeah. We don't want another situation where we get a good goalkeeper and he's happy to be third choice for the rest of his career. We want people chomping at the bit, and I think the only way we're going to get that and a decent replacement for Ederson when he does retire in 11, 15 years is by getting a goalkeeper that's playing regular Premier League or First Division, wherever, football. And I think he needs to. I think that's me personally. That's what I think for goalkeepers. I think it's different. Look at the likes of Foden. He's training every day on the pitch. Outfield players are different to goalkeepers. Just mentality. I think they just need to be playing often. But yeah, I agree with you.
All that's important is we've got a fantastic goalkeeper for the next decade at least, haven't we? We really have.
Yeah.
Well, you could say fantastic outfield player nowadays, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Who have you lads gone for right back? Sorry, Dave, you want to say something then, Paul?
No, I was just going to say really that's been a Manchester City thing. I just remember, being a kid and, my granddad saying to me that's for some reason Manchester City have always had really good goalkeepers.
Yeah.
I don't know why that is. I don't know why we attract them, but, you go right back to Frank Swift and Troutman and, Hart and, we had Seaman for a year. We had, Schmeichel for a year as well. I don't know why it is, but we've Joe Corrigan, Alex Williams. We've always seemed to have had really good goalkeepers.
Tony Coton, my goalkeeping hero.
Yeah.
I was devastated when Coton went to United as a coach. Absolutely gutted.
Yeah, and you heard how Terry Phelan spoke about Coton last week. Just thought he was in one of the incredible keepers. But yeah, so to go answer your question, I have gone for Walker at right back.
Yeah.
But I think because of what has happened with Walker over the last couple of months and what's in his head, he's not been very popular in the media. Is this going to be another Bernardo Silva situation where his head's not quite in the game and his game drops off? That's why I said on our little group chat yesterday, if I'm Guardiola, I'm telling Cancelo, this is your chance. You've not taken it so far in your 8 months at the club. Now's your chance to step up and make that right back slot your own. Will he start him tomorrow? Probably not. But I think this is a gooder opportunity for Cancelo as that he's going to have to actually get in that right back slot.
Dan's not a fan.
No, I just don't see Cancelo ever being either first choice or having a string of games that he'll be happy at City. I just personally I can't see it. He doesn't fit a mold for me. I know people throw up the argument saying he's hardly had any games. He's had plenty of opportunity. A football player doesn't need game in, game out for 3 months straight to prove the worth. If he's worth that multi-million-pound price tag he has, he's got to show us something. Mahrez was shocking in his first season, but he still showed snippets. Cancelo's done nothing for me.
I think you've been a bit premature with him there, mate, to hang him out to dry just yet. He's not even had a season yet, and Walker's really stepped up to the mark. So I think he needs another season before I judge pass comment on him.
He'll be a main to be seen. I don't think he'll be at the end of the summer though.
You don't think
I do agree with you, Dan, because we've talked about this, that you look at how old Cancelo is and the number of clubs that he's been to already. He's 26. He's been to 5 or 6 different clubs. Just doesn't seem to stay more than 2 years anywhere. No. And that's a concern from an attitude problem that, I think I said a few weeks ago. Was he not exactly promised, but was he told when he signed, look, you make that right back spot that your own? And he's not done because Walker completely stepped up his game this season. And blew him out of the water, and now he's all pissed off. And now we keep hearing he's going to be swapped with Semedo in Barcelona, or we just want to sell him or out of the club. And
I can tell you one club that will be in for him: Spurs. Spurs will be in for him. You've heard it here first. Spurs will be offering to buy him in the summer, guaranteed.
I think I've read that somewhere, Dan. Yeah, I think you're right there.
Oh well. Where's that? How long ago was that?
I'm sure I've seen that somewhere. Just, with Mourinho being Portuguese as well. And I think I definitely read somewhere about that Mourinho's got a little bit of an interest in Cancelo.
Oh, well, there you go.
Good call, man.
Fingers crossed it happens.
It's a very good call.
So for my back line, I've gone for Walker, Laporte, obviously. I mean, Walker purely because of Arsenal's pace. in the attacking third. We need Walker was sensational. Remember the United game when Walker was just literally the last man standing on 4 or 5 occasions, and he was brilliant. So Kyle Walker's an obvious choice there. Laporte, obviously, leader from the back with Fernandinho. This absolute. It just seemed like a no-brainer for me that, and I've gone for Mendy to round off the back four. It was a really hard choice between him and Zinchenko, but Mendy just seemed like the obvious answer. He's quick, powerful. Arsenal's attack is quick and powerful. I just think Walker and Mendy coming back and bombing forward and bombing back is just going to be a real handful for Arsenal. What do you guys think?
Yeah. And just to clarify as well, so Angelino is not back at City yet. He will play out the season for Leipzig, but then they have turned down the opportunity to sign him, and he will be back at City next season.
That's
good. That's good news.
What I don't know is does he come back now or is it the end of the season? I'm not sure, but yeah, they've definitely turned down the opportunity to sign him, which I'm surprised about because Nagelsmann's gone on record of saying, he's played 12 games for them since he went on loan. I think he scored 3 goals for them. So I'm a little bit surprised that Red Bull don't want him.
Is it fine?
But if Chris Lane is watching this, maybe Chris Lane has a point here, and Nagelsmann doesn't want to sign Angelino for Leipzig because he wants to make sure he's at Manchester City when he takes over managing Manchester City. And I know that one's for Chris Lane.
Crikey, you heard that here first, Blues. Well, let's wait till Chris Head's just exploded. We've got it live stream on. What do your midfields look like? Shall I tell you what the 3 I've gone for? And we're gonna have some disagreement here, but I think you're not gonna like this, Dan. Sorry, mate. I'm gonna get this one out in first. I've gone for Rodri, Gundogan, and Kevin De Bruyne.
Oh.
It's not just me. Thank God Dave's in my boat as well. Gundogan.
Bear with me on this. Remember before at the start of the conversation when I said I would have 2 teams, the team I would play and the team I think Pep would play.
Are you naming your second one now?
I would like to put my caveat in for Gundogan starts for Pep tomorrow. I'm just saying. Because you've got Kevin De Bruyne, you've got Rodri. Rodri is the linchpin, obviously. Brilliant as what he does. Gundogan has a range of passing that is really good, and him and Kevin De Bruyne in the centre of the park, passing out wide to bombing on wing backs with my front 3. I just think he'll start. I just think he'll start Gundogan tomorrow. And I put a 5 on it that he'd start tomorrow. If you're a betting man, I hate betting, but
You're right with the range of passing between Kevin De Bruyne has a different type of range of passing where he finds a City player. I guarantee Gundogan's type of passing is to find an Arsenal player without a doubt. I mean...
He's not that bad.
I don't know.
I would definitely be playing Bernardo Silva rather than Gundogan there. And I know you're playing Bernardo, but in a different position, but... I've always seen with Bernardo that he tends to be most effective when he's in a more central position and you can get him on the ball. He's a wonderful player. I would prefer, if I seem to recall that he play Bernardo Silva in a central midfield position away to Arsenal earlier this season.
And he turned it up against Arsenal.
That's rang a bell with me, Dave, and I can't remember why.
And I swear that Bernardo Silva had an absolute brilliant game in that more central midfield position.
I scored a worldie as well.
I think Gundogan does a job, but and I know Pep Guardiola's a big fan, I get it, but it's just so boring. It doesn't do anything for me. If I see Gundogan playing and then you see Bernardo Silva, Foden on the bench, I want to tear my hair out because there's better options.
Bear in mind Arsenal's attacking threat. That's all I'm saying. I know. I've had the argument with you two, and I'm not his biggest fan. I'm really not. There's better players in that position for me, but Gundogan I still don't think Gundogan really knows what his position is. Is he attacking? Is he defensive? I just think Pep will play him. I just think it's the type of game where he's going to stick Gundogan in. Don't get me wrong. When I look at the bench, I'm seeing David Silva, I'm seeing Phil Foden. But then I'm thinking to myself, well, we have an overloaded attacking options on the team there where they go for it. He's not just going to leave Rodri as the lone linchpin with the back four. He's going to have somebody to support Rodri and also support the attack as well. And for Pep, that's not Phil Foden. It's not David Silva. It's Gundogan. That's just how I feel. He'll start tomorrow. You both know he'll start tomorrow.
I think he will. He's a Pep favourite. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from Gundogan. This guy he's been there and done it. He's scored some important goals for us. I think it was Pep Guardiola's first ever signing, right? When he joined City. I think so. He'd obviously seen something in Germany of like how good this player is, and he's good. Just I don't know. He just doesn't. He doesn't do anything great. To your point, Tom, he's not a Fernandinho in defensive midfield play, and he's not a Kevin De Bruyne in attacking midfield play either. He's Steve McMahon for anyone who is a little bit older.
I love that. Yeah,
he's Steve McMahon. There you go.
I love that. So what are your? Have you both agreed with me on defence? By the way, is there any?
No.
Yes.
Who have you gone for defence, Dan?
Fernandinho and Otamendi.
Sorry?
Fernandinho and Otamendi. I guarantee you Laporte will not.
Why are you playing Laporte?
Laporte will not start tomorrow. He'll be on the bench. I guarantee you. You've heard it here first.
Wow.
Why?
Because Guardiola will know deep in his head that Premier League's out of the question. There's no real point to the Premier League. Laporte has been plagued by injuries this season, and if we were to ever win the Champions League this year, and I can see him prioritising Laporte. Laporte will definitely be on the bench, but the way the Rodri has played too well to drop him, even though it's Fernandinho, but Fernandinho has played too well in centre defence.
Do you know what? I can understand the bonkers mentality and where you're coming from with that. I can understand where you've gone with that. Just put the beer down for a minute. we need to get Laporte to fighting fitness, to match fitness as quickly as possible. Let's get all the best players to a peak performance position for the Champions League and FA Cup, and then we can start resting them. But yeah, I can't not play Laporte tomorrow night.
I don't honestly do.
How can he not?
He's the first name on the team sheet. He's probably.
In a season that would matter.
Kevin De Bruyne, Sergio Aguero, Laporte is the top four.
It's in a season that would matter, yeah. But we've got. In all truth, I'm with you. I can see a ban coming our way, and I think Guardiola can sort of see it as well. And if anything, we've not really got anything to fight for. I think Laporte will be. That he'll definitely be on the bench. I'm not saying he's out the squad. I'm not that delusional, but he won't start. Fernandinho's been too good as a backup for the centre back, and like I say, Rodri's played too well to drop him for Fernandinho. Where does Rodri play? Unless he's planning on playing Dino and Rodri and holding mid and pushing Kev direct right through the middle, I don't see that because Guardiola didn't like Kev doing that. I just don't see it. And Otamendi, it's his love child. If Otamendi's fit, 99% of the games he'll be playing.
You're killing me a little bit here, Dan.
Honest to God, if Laporte starts tomorrow, I'll do my blue moon in the shower.
Don't say it.
I'll do it.
Right.
I'll do it.
So Dan, Otamendi out of contract, I believe June 30th. Is he leaving? Do you think we're going to offer him another year? Because I think that's going to play into it a little bit. Why would we play a player who is potentially going to be leaving in a few weeks?
Because it always goes back to what Dan Halifax said. He's a good servant. Yes, he's not world class. He does a shift. He has the games where he's atrocious. I'm not that deluded, like I say, but I can see him being offered another year. I can, because if we don't, we're going to add problem onto problem. We still haven't replaced Vinny. We're still not playing Garcia. So what's the point of getting rid of more defenders if we're still not even adapting to starting the younger lads who clearly can do a job. But with Vinny not being replaced, Laporte being the injury-plagued season he's had, we're not even sure if he's maybe injury-prone now. You know, it always happens after these big injuries. Some players don't recover. Boateng, for instance, when he was at City.
Yeah.
I don't see Otamendi leaving, so I wouldn't be surprised if he gets another offer. But at the same time, I can see him leaving at the same time. But I don't think he'll go back to Argentina or anything like that. I still think he'll play for a Premier League club if he leaves. He's got that in him. But I do see him starting with Dino tomorrow. And I'm
interested. I'm not.
Notes of,
who did you say? What about this? So Dan, and this is just devil's advocate. You know, the argument for Laporte again is, number one, we play a lot better when he is in defence. Yeah. Would we agree with that? Yeah. Number two, he hasn't played those competitive games. Isn't this an opportunity to try and get him up to speed and get him? Yes. Because we talked about as well that he's potentially going to be our captain next season, right? I think we've all kind of discussed it could be De Bruyne. You know, is it going to be Fernandinho? Is it, you know, whatever? Is this an opportunity for Laporte to go, no, I'm back now. I'm back from injury. I'm going to be your spearhead for this team now.
Imagine if you were Laporte. Pep said, "There's a knock on the door. Knock on Pep's door." Laporte walks in. You're the best defender at the club. We want you here for the next 5 years, and you're not starting the first game back in 100 days. I would tell Pep to, in no uncertain terms.
But would Pep turn around and? I can see Pep turning to him though and saying, "You've been injured most of the season. You made a comeback against Sheffield United, and a week or two later, you're out injured again because you were rushed back too soon." He hasn't played a competitive game for a long time, even before the lockdown. We haven't played any competitive games unless he's been playing every friendly game behind closed doors, which I think we've only played one, and I don't even think he played that. I'm not 100% sure. He's not going to rush him back into an Arsenal team with Aubameyang and Lacazette and Pepe running at him in front. He's going to do himself another injury. He'll definitely play minutes tomorrow, but I don't see him starting.
I don't disagree with you about because we've got so many games in such a little amount of time. I don't disagree that he's going to get dropped at some point for rotation purposes, like you say, Champions League, FA Cup coming up, but not tomorrow, in my opinion. Right, okay, so I'm putting down each of our lists here, so we'll agree to disagree on that, even though you're wrong. And, Dave, what's your midfield, pal? I've gone for Rodri, KDB and Gundogan. Dave, what are you midfield-wise, pal?
So my only difference is, obviously, KDB, Rodri. I've gone for Bernardo Silva.
Bernardo, yeah, fantastic. And Dan, you're going for...
Rodri... David Silva and De Bruyne.
So Rodri, Silva, David Silva.
Yeah.
And who? Sorry, Bernardo.
De Bruyne.
So David Silva again. It's hard to leave him out of a team when it's his last couple of months.
That's the only positive I can pick up of the season we started. He gets to finish his final season, albeit behind closed doors. He gets to finish. He's massively improved this Premier League since he started, and it's dead certs he should finish the season, his last season as well.
Yeah,
okay. I'm hoping David Silva's saved somewhat for Champions League. That's the one. That's the biggie. That's the one he wants before he finishes his career. And I don't just mean for Manchester City. I just mean just in generally. That's the only trophy that he doesn't have in his cupboard. He is going to be leaving soon. He's not the player he was. And I would like to think that David Silva will be given a real good chance in the Champions League, particularly if we can beat Madrid in this second leg, and then we go into this mini tournament then that I would be saving David Silva for those games.
Can I just stop us here for a minute? Laney's put something. Chris Lane, one of our admins,
of course he has.
In true Laney style. In response to my thing about starting Gundogan, he's just effing boring. As as you can fully expect, it's not past the watershed, so we're not going to swear much in here. And he's also raised the gauntlet to us, Dan. It's put, so if Otamendi doesn't start, Fielding sings Blue Moon in the shower. If Gundogan doesn't start, Tom sings Blue Moon in the shower. Either way, I think Chris wants to see us in the shower, and that really worries me.
Hey, you haven't seen the private messages. It's not just a shower. Well, hang on. What's he said about Dave?
Not a chance.
I mean, I feel a little bit aggrieved that he doesn't want to see me in the shower.
Lads, this is taking a turn. Let's get back to the game.
Can we move on? Chris, that's not happening, mate. You only sing Blue Moon in the shower if you get yellow cards on the admin page. You know this, right? Okay. So, attacking options for tomorrow. I'm going to go with mine first, and I'm going for Raheem Sterling. Fighting fit, and I tell you what, he's going to be absolutely pumped, raring to go. He took a bit of it off the boil, wasn't he, the last couple of months before the season ended, in my opinion. I'm thinking we're going to see a man refreshed and ready to absolutely smash the league. Sergio Aguero, obviously. Jesus is fantastic. Cracking number 2, but that's all he is at the moment for me. He's a number 2. And Bernardo Silva. So I'm going for Sterling on the left, Sergio up front, and Bernardo on the right. And do you know what? There's arguments for Mahrez. There's a big argument for Mahrez over Bernardo. But Bernardo just pips it for me. I just think he'll play. I don't know what yet. I come into your point with Bernardo Silva, Dave. When Arsenal are on the attack, Bernardo he's a little terrier. He'll fight back and he'll run. He's got miles. Has he not got the most miles under his belt for City out of all the players? He will run and he'll chase, and he can drop back into that midfield position and help out and bring the ball forward, etc. So I think there's more chance of Bernardo starting than Mahrez, because Mahrez is your outs now, greedy winger. I use greedy in the nice term. I like Mahrez, and that's why I think that front three. But what about you, Dan? What do you think, pal? Are you going for David White, Niall Quinn?
Now it's actually going to go with. I was going to go with
Ricky Holden.
Forward, to be fair.
Come on, Ricky Holden. Did you say Ricky Holden then?
Ricky Holden. Tricky Dicky.
Nice. Dicky. Love it.
No, okay. I will go for. I'm going to push the vote out. Jesus on the left, Aguero up front with Sterling on the right.
Oh, wow.
I knew there was something I liked about you, Dan. That's exactly who I've gone for.
Jesus, Sergio. Hey. Who, sorry? Sterling,
yeah.
And you've gone for that as well, have you, Dave?
Yeah.
There's no way he's playing Sergio and Sterling. Sergio and Jesus.
But why if Jesus is on the left and cutting in, which we all know that he is.
The FA Cup, he was brilliant, wasn't
he? Yeah.
It's a fair argument.
And here's the thing as well, and I don't know how much we want to discuss this. There is 5 substitutions, right, in these games.
Yeah.
Certainly for the remainder of this season. I think we're the sort of team who Pep Guardiola's the sort of manager. He's going to use those substitutions, particularly we're coming back for all this time off. Players are going to get tired. This just might be the team for me that he starts off with, and 20-25 minutes in, Jesus will go off because we've got another game three days later, and Mahrez drops in. Bernardo Silva drops out, and Gundogan comes in. I think there's going to be a lot of chops and changes with this.
If you were Pep, is your mentality obviously second place? But are you thinking this is training ground for the bigger competitions that we can win?
Probably not if I'm Pep, because Pep's just wants to win everything, doesn't he? Mm. He'll put out. I agree with you. I think he's going to put out a very, very strong team tomorrow because he wants to win.
And he'll be telly, first game back, live on telly. Big lion's share of fans watching us from all around the world tomorrow. In fact, I'd probably go on record to say I bet tomorrow match is the most watched match in Premier League, probably history.
Yeah. And he's going to be, I think, all 3 of us have said it really, that to a point he's going to be reliant on his older, more experienced players to bring us through. So it would not surprise me at all if David Silva does start the game, to be honest, because he wants that experience. No one's ever played in this kind of environment before with cameras on you. It's kind of like a training game, but it's actually a real game. It's going to be very strange for a lot of players, I think.
Bonkers. Who's your captain tomorrow? Nando?
David Silva.
Yeah, I mean, if Silva's playing, he's club captain. He would be captain. For me, if he's not playing, I would go Fernandinho.
Dino, yeah.
I'm excited. I genuinely, I'm waiting for that hour before kickoff. Team news comes in. Dan gets in the shower, starts singing Blue Moon.
It'll be you, mate. Believe me.
Now, if there are any, do we feel that there's going to be any younger players, at least on the bench tomorrow? You know, Dan Halifax posted about Nemecha really impressing Guardiola in training. You know, obviously we've talked about Garcia, you know, to death, Harwood Bellis, Doyle. Do any of these younger players, you know, I'm really excited for Braff to get a chance at some point as well.
Is there a
Do
limit
any of these players at least make the bench over the next few weeks?
Is there a limit on the bench numbers? We can have 5 subs.
Question.
I don't know if there's a limit on numbers in the bench. We're putting it out to anyone on Facebook if they know the answer. Is it 10? Is it still 7? Is it what? I don't know. If it's unlimited, then we stick all the young guns on, don't we? Howard Bellis, we give everyone the experience they need to do. We stick them on. If it's still 7, then potentially not.
I would love that.
It'd be lovely, that, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and then I believe Couto, Brazilian right back, he joins July 1st.
Okay.
Ooh.
So
Cancelo out.
Yeah, who knows what's going to happen?
Couto is the right back, isn't he? Or is he the left back?
Yeah.
I can never remember which one. He is. In that case, then hands down, I'd even put money on it now. Cancelo will be out of the club in the summer. Hands down. Now that I know that Couto's joining.
Yeah, July 1st he joins.
So we're nearly there. We've finished. What teams we're going for. What I'd like to ask you both here now, and to everyone watching on Facebook, is predictions. We've had a couple of predictions coming in. Let me just run through them for you. Daniel Davidson's gone 3-2 City. Dan Wayne has gone 3-1 City. For 3 goals scored by a hat-trick by Sergio. We've had a 5-1 come in. We've had a Khalid De Bruyne, love that name, pal, is put a 3-0 win to City. It was the 5-1 by 3-1 by Chris. Laney's put 3-1 to City. Gundogan hat-trick is put. Jason Webster's gone 5-1 for City.
Wow.
John Sedgwick's gone 4-1 for City. And do you know what? This game, I don't do predictions. I think we all know this. Oh, do I do it? I've got an inkling. It's going to be 2-0 City. I've just got a 2-0 feeling about tomorrow's game. This is where I never do a prediction ever again after this. Go on, what do you two think?
I'm going draw. I think
Can you take that cap off, please? It makes you negative.
I'm going. I think there'll be goals in it. I think it's first game back. Everyone's going to be rusty. It'll make better viewing because I think there'll be more goals. But yeah, I'm going 2-2.
2-2.
2-2.
I'm glad I'm on this video cast because at least one of us three is talking sense. You know, team lineups and the score prediction. I'm going to be all right. I'm going to go for. Oh, do I go for my pre-lockdown sort of scorelines? Nah, realistic 6-0. Honest to God, I believe that. 6-0.
Welcome back, Dan Fielding. Dan Fielding's back, everybody.
Well, hey, stranger things have happened.
Yeah. I think we can all agree there'll be goals in it tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's just whether our defence shapes up or not. I really rate Aubameyang. I think he's a great player.
Yeah, I agree.
I think he's wasted on the left.
Wish we'd have got him.
Right, so Dan's put 6-0. Dave's put 2-2. I've gone for 2-0. Christ. We're back again, aren't we?
Yeah, but Tom, do you remember the last 2-0 score prediction you did for City?
Oh, go on.
Wolves.
Oh,
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole reason you stopped.
Oh, I knew there's a reason why I stopped doing predictions.
Well.
Well,
Hey, you never know. Lucky stars.
One thing I've done is I chose a rubbish month to stop drinking. What a rubbish month to stop drinking. Bloody hell. Chris Kinnear's come in, 4-2, thriller. Chris, do you mean City go 2-0 down and we score 4 in the last 5 minutes? That'd be nice. Not for my heart, though.
No one coming up with these 5+ no scorelines yet.
Oh, it's just you, mate. It's just you.
Just you, Dan.
Laney's put Dave Roberts can sing Blue Moon dressed as a cheerleader. That is something I want to see.
Okay.
Yeah, Dave, I so hope you're wrong now. I do as well.
Oh, Sion Edwards has gone 3-1 City. Kev Sal has gone 3-1 City, feeling confident. How is the bench going to be set up with social distancing? What a great way. They've got plenty of room in the stadium to sit, John. So, I don't know. Is it going to be two? Was it 2 or 4? Was it 4 apart?
4 seats. 4 seats, yeah.
I assume they'll mirror that over here.
That's one thing. When we first started the chat about how the stadium's going to look, how we're going to manage it, that's one good thing that I'm happy about that Premier League hasn't said it's going to happen, is what the German league have done with the paper fans. The paper fans in the background, they're spreading them out 2-3 meters apart. Have you seen them? I think it was Mönchengladbach that did it. They're the first team to do it.
They printed off the season ticket holders' faces, didn't they, and put them on a piece of the card. I like that idea. I think that's clever. I like that idea.
That would scare me as a player. Definitely quiet, and you just got all the people pulling the same faces. It's scary. It was the
team that had fans on the hotel over the road watching the game, and they had all the flares going off. Was it Belgrade? Was it Partizan Belgrade or something?
It'll be one of them lot, yeah. They're always up for it, aren't they?
Yeah. Daniel, Amy Fielding, gone 2-0.
That's my girl. That's my girl.
She's the sensible one of the family then, by the looks of it.
Yeah.
Well,
she clearly not, because she got the scoreline wrong, but I love her.
I think we're done, lads. I think we're done.
All right.
I don't know how long we've done for, but has anyone else got anything to add before the momentous game tomorrow? And don't forget, we are live watching the game tomorrow, so please feel free to join in, everybody. Michael Stritch, 3-1 City. Go on, sorry.
Got one thing to say, and I think it's what every fan's thinking. Hopefully, we can finish off the season with everyone playing safe. That's what it all comes down to.
Absolutely agree with you. And the worst thing that could happen, and Dave, I hope you don't mind me mentioning this. You mentioned it before. Is a couple of players go downhill. The league is won by Liverpool, and the league is cancelled after a week and a half because players are going ill, and that nobody wants to see that. Not everyone wants full fitness, everyone fit, able to play, fit and well, etc. Let's see the season out. Let's give David Silva the goodbye he deserves in some way, if possible. I don't know how that's going to happen. That's the ideal. If we're going to play football, we need it to be safe for everybody, and just no idiots turning up at football games. If you're a City fan thinking of turning up at the ground, don't bother. Just ridiculous thing to do.
Please don't.
Yeah, please don't. It won't go down well at all. It'll make us look like idiots. So, yeah, take that out of your mind straight away. Watch it on telly like everyone else and cheer on the Blues. I think that's the best thing we could say, isn't it, really?
Yeah. Agreed.
Fantastic. Yeah. Lads, we'll see you tomorrow night, hopefully.
All right.
Come on, City! See you later. Come on, City. See you in a bit, boys.
Take care, boys.
Bye-bye.